Why do they always need to put a freaking sticker over it? Oh, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the PlayStation 2 Slim from AliExpress, also known as the PAPII 2, or yeah, PAPII 2. So this is more like a multi-game emulator system. I was really curious what you were going to get. Oh, so unfortunately my box had a little bit of damage. But so it's always like a gamble and a surprise. And I must say, here on the channel we review all kinds of weird products from AliExpress and other pages. So yeah guys, so if you like stuff like that, consider subscribing and we'll begin like a freaking adventure. So let's do a quick unboxing just to see what are we going to get in the inside. Because I can tell you this thing did surprise me. Back then, they have like all kinds of versions of this. Also, in PAPII K1 is out. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Okay, so the system itself, it's kind of funny to be honest. So when you're looking at this, it does look very nice. It doesn't look one-on-one, but you do see like the mold still has like a weird like PlayStation 2 memory card slot. We do have the power here, the reset. At the front we do get a normal SD slot. So the way this thing is made is quite interesting. So in the inside, of course, PlayStation controller knockoff things. I must say, like, it would be like kind of funny if they like if they were giving us like Xbox fake control or something like that. So besides that, there is no toilet panel. I think there's like this weird USB to barrel jack for powering on. It works on 5 volt. The controllers are really like the cheap chemical versions. Oh boy. And I mean, like, these things are really bad. Like, they feel cheap, they smell cheap, and it's absolutely not something you want to play every single day with. Oh boy, it's really bad. Why? But what is kind of cool, so this thing comes with original ports. Yeah, and the controllers too. So I don't know if you can use the fake ones on the original one, but I can tell you, you can use original controllers on this thing. I think it's pretty damn cool. So here at the back we do get ourselves the HDMI out, the barrel jack out. There is even an option for that, but there's no cable. And then we do have like the input for the power supply, and that is 5 volts. I think it needs to use like a 2000 milliamp adapter. Alright, so next up let's try a game, and just wanted to see how good or bad this D-pad is. So the D-pad feels really sturdy and cheap, but it seems to be like working after all, so I'm surprised. So and the same goes for the analog stick. So the controllers, they are like chemical and they are not the best I have seen, but they're responsive. So I give them some extra kudos for that. Okay, so let's do a side-by-side comparison with the original controller and the PlayStation 2. Absolutely, there are a lot of different resemblances to the two systems, but it is not a one-on-one copy. You can see like there are a lot of minor things changed. For example, there is no PlayStation logo, of course. And when we're going to do a PlayStation 2 sandwich comparison, then you can see like there are some differences, but also the casing in general is exactly the same. Let's see, so you can see the controller ports are slightly different positioned, but the memory card slot are exactly the same. Okay, when you're looking at the front, you can also see like the power button and the reset or ejection, doesn't even matter which button, they are like in the same position. So that's a quite interesting one. But let's do a side-by-side comparison from the side, and here you can see quite some differences. So over here at the right, we can see there is a difference. But in overall, I find it quite interesting that they try to copy the PlayStation 2 Slim this way. Okay, so let's take a close look at the weight of the PlayStation 2. The Slim from AliExpress. In total it weighs 295 grams. So let's get ourselves the original one. So the original one weighs 803. So basically it's a lot of plastic fantastic with the fake edition in combination with a lot of air in the inside. And when you take a close look at the controllers, the mold itself is, I would say, almost the same, but the quality of the original control of the Sony cannot be defeated. Like the cheap controllers, the chemical ones from China are like freaking awful. We're also going to see if we can use an original controller on the system. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the system has been booted up. Here you can see it works fine with the cheap China controller or the cheap controller. Let's get ourselves an original one, and surprise, surprise, it seems to be working. Fits in way better than the Chinese one. And you can see we can even play this with an original PlayStation 2 controller, so that is much better. Okay, so let's boot up the system itself, and first we're going to get the magical intro music. Hey, drop it in the comments if you know where this is from, because that is what we call retro. Okay, but let's take a close look at the menu at first, because I just wanted to see what we're going to get with this. And let's do a quick overview of the menu, what you can do with it. Take consideration, there is no way of getting into the menu, change out emulator, stuff like that. This is just plug and play. So the big list is just the messy list, like everything has been slapped in one list. I don't like it at all. Pressing the shoulder button, you go to the type, or in other words, platforms. This thing plays everything but PlayStation 2, how funny that it actually is. So PlayStation 1, they get some arcade, Neo Geo, NES, so let's say 8-bit, Game Boy, 16-bit. So there's a lot of stuff this thing can actually play. Later on we'll test out if the PlayStation 1 will run fine, because that would be the benchmark for today's video. History, favorites, search results. The search results are kind of interesting, because here we're going to get the options to choose your game. It's kind of clunky, so let's say I want to search for Mortal Kombat. You need to press left and then down, and then we're going to get to the left menu. Kind of weird, but the weird thing is, like, we have multiple Mortal Kombat games, but how do you know which game is what? So here at the right top you can see when changing between the titles, it says here PlayStation 1, Game Boy Advance, and there we can see what kind of games we're going to get. Another option I really like about is when you're just pressing start, you basically put a star behind it, and then we're going to get to the favorites, and here we can get the favorite list. I can also remove them fairly easy. So that is just an option. It's super basic, but it seems to be working just fine. Okay, when pressing select and start in a game, you're going to get back to the quick load and quick save menu, where you also have the option to restart the game, go exit, save and load. Every single game has a couple of save slots over here, so quite interesting. Then we're going to get the key settings, there we can change out for play 1 and play 2. Video scaling, sadly there is no aspect ratio. The only thing we're going to get is scanline, fast and smooth. The only thing what it is, like the normal, the smooth filtering and the scanline. Kind of weird how they say it, like it's fast. Fast like Sonic the Hedgehog. So when it comes to the arcade stuff, we cannot play Killer Instinct. I didn't see Mortal Kombat, and that is highly possible because these things are not powerful enough. What you're going to get in the inside is most of the time nothing really special. And somehow I will keep using my supers. But the gameplay is quite smooth when it comes to the arcade stuff. So we can play this on a freaking potato, but oh man, like navigating through this game with the D-pad is freaking awful. So you can play fighting games, but it is freaking annoying when you need to play some beat 'em ups and shmups. So mostly of the time I will play with the analog stick, but of course we're having the option to play with the original controller from PlayStation 2. So that's, in my opinion, quite awesome. Okay, next up let's try another arcade game. I'm skipping to my original controller because the controller can be played with fighting games, and we're just going to be honest, like it's absolutely not a good experience. Nothing beats an original controller. And also this runs pretty damn smooth. I'm just using the original, no pixel filter whatsoever, not all the bullshit. Personally I don't like it at all. Okay, so next up let's try some Super Nintendo, and I find the game running okay, and everything looks kinda choppy. And I think the main reason is not because it's stretched out, because the emulators are running on such a weird resolution. I have noticed it with other emulators, it doesn't. Also the system itself doesn't run on full HD. Next up, let's try some Sega Megadrive, or Genesis known by many of you. Let's see where they finally nailed it. And I got slapped in the face. All the sound effects are here, no weird delays whatsoever. Okay, so I wanted to boot up PlayStation 1, and sadly this thing doesn't run on a very high resolution. Of course, in combination with the stretch, that doesn't do this thing any good. But you can see with the selection screen that this thing has like a gigantic lag in the audio. And that is the part that I don't like with these devices. You cannot change it out. Maybe it's a minor setting they can just tweak. But in my opinion, they completely messed it up. Well, the gameplay itself, you can see that even I don't need an FPS counter to see that the game runs on very nice FPS. Alright, so next up let's try a different game just to see how the performance is this time, because we can see sometimes with different games that we're going to get different performance, but also the next game that we're going to try now doesn't have any negative effect when it comes to the gameplay. Alright guys, so let's do a quick teardown. I just wanted to see what's inside this fake PlayStation 2 Slim from AliExpress. So I would not be surprised there is almost nothing inside beside of the weight of the device. Also, like, I have reviewed the previous model that was basically in game stick. So if they can basically get this thing in a game stick, they don't need a casing like this. So I don't know why they even like get this PlayStation 2 Slim case. I have no idea why they would do this. Alright, all the screws have been removed, and here you can see like the top part is getting loose over here. Right, so basically this thing only has 2 freaking shells. So this is the only thing that we're going to get in the inside. So let's get the screws at the side and let's do a quick overview of the device. Okay, so let's take a close look at this side. So here we're going to get the 2 controller ports. Then we have here the SD card slot that has been an own separate ribbon cable that basically connects to the main board over there. And the same goes for the controller port. But then we're going to get ourselves the main board. And here there are some interesting things. But the thing that it doesn't have is basically some normal cooling. But let's take a close look at this over here. What does it say and what kind of chip? I must say that I have seen this chip before, but I did some googling and I couldn't find any information whatsoever. Here you can see like the chip itself is the ATM 6039 ST, like a weird Terminator from the future. So I'm guessing this thing only has 1 gig of RAM or something like that, because there was an option for 2, but nope, they didn't do that. And I would not be surprised this thing doesn't have any storage capacity from itself. It is basically what you're going to get is the CPU, GPU and the RAM memory. And basically what this uses is the SD card for its storage capacity. But the funny thing is to show you, like over here we can see like it says here PAPII 2021. So this thing is quite new, and yeah, it has been completely redesigned when it comes to the PCB, especially for this product. Okay guys, so let's get back to the controller board. So the controller board also says PAPII, so this board has been specially made for the PAPII game console. Here we're going to get SD, says over here, but seems to be this thing they called the USB ports. Yeah, since when this is USB ports. Made in 2021. Okay, and the left part is a very tiny PCB. Basically what it does is for connection for the reset key and the power key. And also the same story goes for this. This PCB is specially made for this machine. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's like this thing is quite surprisingly, when I say super bad or super good, it's okay, you know, like I would give it a 6 out of 10. And not because of the shitty freaking chemical controllers. I mean like the way how they made this, the way how it actually works. It does have like a lot of potential. Unfortunate, like they always do, they don't go all the way, and there were always things that they completely messed up. So yeah, let me know in the comments what do you think of this fake PlayStation 2 or called the PAPII. But thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become a Wicked family, and it would be great to see you in the next video.